Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about 3 eukaryotic checkpoints. So the 3 eukaryotic checkpoints are shown with the stars, and we're going to talk about what happens at each of them, starting with the red star here at the end of G1. This is arguably the most important checkpoint because this is where the cell is going to decide if it's going to divide, or if it's not, it'll enter into a non-dividing state called G0. If a cell does decide to divide, it's going to go through 3 or multiple checklists to make sure that it has everything that it needs in order to be able to move on to the next phase. So at each of these steps, you can think of them as a stopping point to make sure that the cell is ready for the next phase. And if it's not ready, then the cell is going to stop, wait until the conditions are met, and then proceed with the next phase of the cell cycle. So if a cell does decide to divide, the questions that it needs to answer is the cell big enough? Is there enough space? Are there enough resources? Is the DNA damaged? And is the cell ready for the S phase? If all these conditions are met, the cell will then proceed on to the next part of the cell cycle, which is the S phase. At the G2 checkpoint, which is the second checkpoint, the cell is going to check if the DNA has finished replicating. In other words, has the S phase completed? Is the DNA damaged? And is the cell ready for the M phase? If the cell has met all these conditions, then it will proceed on to the M phase. If not, then the cell is going to wait until those conditions are met before replicating or before moving on to the next phase of the cell cycle. The last checkpoint we're going to talk about is the M checkpoint. And at the M checkpoint, the cell checks to make sure that the chromosomes are lined up. So the M checkpoint is going to take place specifically at metaphase, and the cell will check to make sure that all the chromosomes have lined up in the center before moving on to anaphase, which is the next phase. All these checkpoints work together to make sure that the cell division process occurs smoothly and as few, if hopefully no errors as possible. The extra space that you have on your mega sheet can be used to write whatever additional information and background information you need for the cell cycle. Remember that the information such as what happens during G1, S, G2, the stages of mitosis is not something that we are going to be covering in depth because it is assumed you already have that prior knowledge. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.